Hey, baby, if you're tired of watered-down news that don't speak to us, then it's time you download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get it right now on Google Play and the Apple App Store. Stay informed, stay empowered, and support media that speaks truth from our perspective. Now, here's Brother Phil with today's message.
So as we all know, Jasmine Crockett is running for Senate here in Texas. And, you know, I have been one to criticize Jasmine Crockett when I felt she was wrong. I've been one to criticize her when she's performative. I've been one to say something if I felt she wasn't speaking up for enough issues within the black community. So I am definitely one to say that I will always speak up when someone I feel is not just advocating as they should. Do I have something personal against Jasmine Crockett? No, not at all. I don't know her personally. She hasn't done me nothing personally, or my family anything personal. But there is something that's going on right now with her that I say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to say something about it because I have a thing about people lying, okay? And this issue they're bringing up about her saying a statement about the country of Israel where she says that, you know, where they got a right to defend themselves. I'm going to get into that particular talking point too. But I want to play a video from her, and we want to make sure to get out the right information about her. And then I definitely want to discuss that talking point that those politicians use. Let's go check that out.
What about the criticism, where some people have said, I know you've seen it on social media, where people are saying that some of them aren't going to vote for you because of this pro-Israel stance. What do you have to say about that?
What I have to say is that people need to start to do their research and stop falling for the clickbait. Listen, if you loved me before, then what has changed? You can always look at my voting record and know what it is that I have and haven't voted for. But it's quite intellectually lazy if you just sit there and let somebody else tell you something and you don't go and get the full picture. You can always look at my FEC filings and find whatever information it is that you seek. So what I will tell you is that I'm not going to be distracted, because at the end of the day, I can tell you that Texans are concerned about the fact that we lead in uninsured in this country. I can tell you that Texans are concerned because right now jobs are few. I can tell you that Texans are concerned because they can't afford childcare. I can tell you that Texans are concerned because hospitals are about to close down. And if you have questions, then you should just go and look at my record. I have nothing to hide. I wouldn't be running for office if I had anything to hide. But what I'm not going to do is allow people to sit here and have me on the defensive about something that they don't even know what they're talking about, because it is very easy to look up who is endorsed by who and to figure that out. That is intellectually lazy for you not to just go and look who has been endorsed.
I know you're focused on.
Well, when she made that video, I said, well, let's go on and look up who's really donating money to Jasmine Crockett based off her last FEC filing. Now, anybody that gives money to a politician, it has to be reported. Anyone who's paid money by a politician, no matter what the organization is, it has to be reported. That's why when everybody talked about Boulay Martin getting the $350,000 from Kamala, she had to report that, because that is part of the law with campaign finance, right? So I said, you know what? Let's go on and look at her last filing and just see who actually did support her. And it's not about all the people that may be on the list. It's in particular one individual group would be AIPAC. Okay, so let's go on and look at this real quick. So we're on the website opensecrets.org. They track all the campaign finance and everything else that go along with it. Now, of course, originally they have the top 20, but let's go to the top 100. Now, her next filing has to be at the end of the year, okay? So the top person that gave to her was a Miller, Weisbrod, Oliski. And you see who the top 5 are: Truist, Doctors Hospital, Healthcare Service Corporation, and a Carla Juvetson, MD, okay? But if you keep scrolling through, you see companies like Home Depot, Border Health. You'll see UBS America, Cardinal Health, a lot of healthcare people, American Association for Justice. You just keep scrolling down, traffic controllers, and Association of Realtors, things like that. And Texas Farm Bureau, which is one insurance company. See, Toyota gave her money, Dell gave her money, Coinbase, American Airlines. So you see a lot of corporations that's given money to Jasmine Crockett, which is kind of normal. But as we keep scrolling down, you don't see anything on here about AIPAC. I went, and we'll go all the way down to 100, so you can see exactly how many people is given, right? Now, National Association of Letter Carriers, you see them. JP Morgan Chase, you see how much they gave. So Walmart, you see there, DoorDash, CVS Health. We'll just keep going down, but that's all the way down. Even Nancy Pelosi gave a little money, right, at the bottom. So Jasmine Crockett has not received anything from AIPAC, and that's what really a lot of the accusations is that Jasmine Crockett is fighting for or standing up for what Israel is doing in their country. But I got two issues with some of that. So clearly that is a lie. Somebody put out a lie on her, and I don't like lying. Listen, I like defeating people with truth. I don't like lying. I don't like people twisting things. I don't like that. So what they're saying is that she is defending them by saying they have a right to defend themselves. Okay, let's talk about that point. I'm going to tell you straight up. I believe every country on the face of the earth has a right to defend themselves if they are being attacked. I believe you as an individual that could be watching this video has a right to defend yourself if you're being attacked. Now, I do not support if you just attacking people for no reason. I don't support oppression by any group of people to anybody. I don't support any of that. Okay? Period. But let's call it what it is. Every politician in Congress, they all gonna have that same statement. Let's just call it what it is. I can get into why, but I'm not gonna get into why on this platform. And a lot of you should know why. Okay? So that's be perfectly clear. The other guy who's running the Democrat primary, Tallarico, he said the same thing. The Republicans take it up a notch. How instead of saying they can defend themselves, they talking about they should be able to do whatever they want and blow up whatever they want. That's how they feel about it, and we should fund them to do it. That's what the Republicans say. So no matter if it's Democrat or Republican, they've all saying, the minimum of they have a right to defend themselves, but we talked about that. Now, here's my issue, and I'm talking to black people in particular, anybody else who could be listening, okay? I don't care what's happening in foreign lands. Now, I do, because of who I am and what I do pay attention to what's happening in the African continent. I do pay attention to what's happening in the Caribbean. I will pay attention to what's happening with black people globally. You understand what I'm saying? But that has nothing to even do with black people globally. So why is any black folks talking about that? What has any of the group of people you're talking about on no matter what country, either country, done for us as black people? Nothing. You talking about the Palestinian, a Palestinian is the one that called the police on George Floyd. Maybe that Palestinian would not call police on George Floyd and just, if anything, just put him out and say, hey, if you don't leave, I'm going to call because you're trespassing. He would have left, okay? And that would have been the end of it. We'd have never even had this George Floyd conversation. Or what happened to George Floyd, right? For an alleged counterfeit money, which was, we ain't hear no court case about it. We heard nothing about it. I am not for focusing on other countries that has nothing to do with black America or not even the diaspora. So what are you talking about on that? In Texas, because I live here, we have a lot of issues and problems. The Republicans in this state are just then lost their mind. Texas still has a $7.25 minimum wage. Who can make it on that? Other states have raised their minimum wage. Texas refused to do it. The affordability crisis in this state, right? Property taxes is through the roof in this state. Black folks pay property taxes. You know what I'm saying? You still got mass incarceration happening. All kinds of things are happening in this state. So as black Americans, we should only care about what's happening to black America in Texas or care about issues in Texas. I'm not going to say I'm not going to vote for somebody because of their position on a foreign country. I don't care. I personally don't care what they got going on at this point. I care about America. Now, if she come out and say, well, I don't care about black issues, I don't want to fight for black people, I don't want to put if we say, hey, can you put up an anti-black hate crime bill? And she say, nah, I won't do nothing like that. If we ask her directly, hey, what you going to do? What about reparations? Can you put up a bill for that? And she directly tell us, like Kamala, I'm not going to sit here and only do something for black people. No, then that's a different conversation to have at that point. You doggone right we're going to have that conversation. But she didn't say that. So they're actually lying on her or trying to do something where they can lie on her, like basically like AIPAC supporting. But let's go back to that. Jamal Bowman and Cori Bush. Let's talk about them too. Jamal Bowman and Cori Bush took the position that y'all claiming y'all want Jasmine to take. AIPAC went after them, and y'all in their district, you didn't give them enough money, and you didn't show up to vote. The main thing is you ain't got to have money, just show up to vote. Y'all didn't show up to vote for them. They took the stance you want about Palestine and all that, and y'all sat there and like AIPAC fund another candidate and got them out of office because y'all didn't show up. So if you think about it from Jasmine Crockett's point of view, why would she want to fight for a foreign country when she's not running to even be the president of the United States? That's for one. Why would you want to fight for a foreign country when you're trying to represent Texas, one state out of the United States? And a senator. One vote is not going to push anything over the edge. If you understand how our laws work, and maybe I have to tell you. So you have a House of Representatives, and you have, 400 and some odd members in the House. Each of them have a vote to vote on a particular law. Now, it's majority vote wins, right? So that's why you want to have more people in there that maybe side with what you side with, right? So, okay, majority vote wins there. In the U.S. Senate, you have 100 members, and they can do majority vote wins with reconciliation. But a lot of times they use that so many times a year. But the filibuster, you have to have at least 60 votes to pass any kind of legislation. But let's say if it gets 60 votes, then it goes to the president of the United States, and then he, either sign it into law or he can veto it. That same bill that's vetoed can go back to the House, and if it has 2/3 of the majority vote, if it goes back, then it goes to the House. If it gets a 2/3 in the House, then those two votes override the presidential veto, and then that bill goes into law. So Congress can't override the president. It just takes more people to override the president in a vote. Because I know in high school they don't teach anything. Okay, I get it. So please understand, we want to teach you things here too. So we all get educated, because education is very, very important. Black people fought and died for us to be educated, to even read, okay? And so reading is something that our ancestors want us to do. Our ancestors want us to know things. Our ancestors didn't fight for us to be dumb. I refuse to be dumb because I'll be letting down my ancestors. Now, since we know all of this, being a senator, you get one vote, but being a senator, you get it's a 6-year term, and you can do a whole lot more with certain positions in the Senate than maybe the House, right? Because for the House, you got every 2 years you're in election mode, which is crazy. I think they should change that personally. But lying about the situation about AIPAC and all of that against her is just not the thing to do. Correct her when she's wrong, talk about her policies or anything like that, personalities and all, whatever. Well, how I look at the situation of Jasmine Crockett right now in Texas, or even the other gentleman that's running in the primary or whatever, how I look at it, I listen to him, what he had to say, and, he seems like a level-headed guy from what I see. But Ken Paxton, him, all sleeping with the other women, his wife left him because of that reason. And the other guy, John Cornyn, they lackeys for Trump. Whatever Trump say they're going to do. You don't want somebody that's mindless like that whatever Trump say they're going to do. So if Trump say, well, you need to put down a law to put black people in slavery tomorrow, you going to support that? Because he's mindless? You don't want nobody mindless. And I'm just talking, of course, Trump probably wouldn't say no crap like that. But you can put other laws on the books that make things hard for people in general. So the term intellectually lazy, yeah, some people are. But that's okay. I told y'all, I'm always going to stand up and say something if something I feel is wrong. Even if I don't agree with a person all the time, especially if they're a black person. I will do that. I will correct them. You better believe I'm going to correct them. But in that instance, yeah, they lying on Jasmine Crockett. Now, I don't support that. I don't support lying on people like that. I detest people that just openly lie on people. I detest it. And, you know, if I had to respond to it, I'm saying, look, everybody got a right to defend themselves on the planet Earth. If somebody attacks you, you have a right to defend yourself to the full. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like he was on the schoolyard playground. Somebody, you know, try to bully you. You have a right to fight back. Everybody got that right to do that. So, I mean, but we should focus on black issues, Texas issues. That's what we should be focusing on. Stop caring about foreign lands, because these foreign lands not caring about us, period. Show me when some foreign lands have done anything good for black America. Not now one of them have. Now one of them. So yes, y'all love to say, I don't care. Well, stop talking about that. I see some black folks who got platforms always talking about that issue. I'm like, why are you wasting your time on your platform talking about a group of people, and those people got racism too? You talking about them Palestinians, and they got racism against black folks in Palestine. They've shown the videos of their racism. So I'm not going to defend nobody that shows any kind of racism, anti-black racism. No, I'm not doing it. And we got enough issues right here in Texas, right here in America, we need to be focused on. We need to focus on home. Get home straight. That's the only way we're going to fix things in the black community. Focus on us. That's part of, like you say, delineation, right? Delineation is part of that movement is focus on ourselves, our community, make sure in our politics that we make sure it's centered and focused on what we got going on. It is what it is. Now, if I step on somebody's toes by saying that, no, I'm not crusading. I'm not crusading for no groups that's not part of my particular group. Now, if it's something in the diaspora, I'll talk about it, or somebody here talk about it, but I'm not advocating for foreign nations and what they got going on. Well, their tax dollars going to this and that and the third. Our tax dollars going to a whole lot of things that we don't control, a whole lot of things that I don't agree with. Our tax dollars is funding police out here that's doing us wrong. I mean, it's a whole lot of things we could talk about with tax dollars if we want to have that conversation. I don't advocate, like, at all, our money going to any foreign countries, foreign wars, foreign groups. No, our money needs to be focused here, right here in the United States of America. We need our reparations. That's what that money should be funneling to. Black America to pay for reparations. So let's talk about that part of the money. But no, I don't agree with lying like that. Not even on Jasmine Crockett. I don't agree with it. You know, let her run her race if she want to run for it. If people want to vote for her, it's their American right to vote for her if they choose to. But that's the only thing I'm saying with the whole situation. Don't lie. Don't lie. There's no reason to lie. The woman is not being funded by AIPAC. So, you know, if you're going to say something truthful. Don't lie.